Preface to The Land of Wonder and Fear by Frederick Albert Mitchell-Hedges. Year after year, after leading expeditions into the interior of Central America for the British Museum, and as on my last for the Museum of the American Indian High Foundation of New York, I have invariably gone through the same ritual. I have stood on the steamship as it left port down there, cursed the jungles, and sworn that the finest view I have ever seen was the coastline of Central America disappearing as we steamed away. Yet, when I arrive in a city like London or New York and visualize the lives of the teeming millions, I know that under no circumstances could I live the rutted existence which is the only life known to them, doing the same thing year after year, yet always striving after sensation. The majority of men and women in this mechanized age are seeking to extract a thrill out of existence, many by reading the most highly sensational fiction, others by tearing along the great highways in high-power automobiles, deriving a double excitement, the thrill of danger and the breaking of police regulations. The air lends even greater opportunities. The advent of the airplane has opened up a fresh field for intense nerve reaction and hair-raising risks. Possibly the greatest gamblers with life are the intrepid men and women who have gambled and lost or gambled and won in their flights across the North Atlantic. Look at the crowd of people, many of whom are so wealthy that $100,000 or £20,000 one way or another means nothing to them, sitting or standing tense round the tables at Monte Carlo, Cannes, Deauville, and the many other casinos of which one knows, gambling with that strained look on their faces into the small hours of the morning. It is their way of forcing sensation from the god of chance. Visit any brokerage house in the United States at the height of a boom or panic. Mark the expressions on the faces of the men and women seated in the easy chairs provided for their comfort while their eyes never leave the board. Amidst the monotonous ticking of electric machines, the curious little glyphs and signs continually change and the atmosphere vibrates with human emotion. I have seen women shrieking hysterically carried out and men stumbling blindly for the entrance, ruined. They are getting their thrill. They must gamble. It is the breath of their existence. Stand by a racecourse and watch the massed thousands. They're off! The eagerly awaited words roll down the course. Listen to the roar, growing louder and louder as the horses thunder past. The wild outburst of enthusiasm when a favorite flashes past the winning post. They are gamblers. The whole world gambles. Marriage is a gamble. Striking out in any business is a gamble. The responsibility of bringing children into the world is a gamble, for veritably a chip of the old block can be a splinter in a mother's heart. Take the accident of birth. One may be born in the purple or in the most rich slum. One may be born black, high yellow, or white. The whole of life is one great gamble. From the day of birth to the day of death, conscious or unconscious, within the majority of humanity is that strange urgency. Try to control it as we may, the love of risk and desire for excitement is ever present. But the greatest gamble of all, the greatest thrill any man or woman can experience, is the gamble with life. And it can be obtained in full measure amongst the unexplored jungles and fastnesses of Central America, where what may be lie hidden amidst the thousands of square miles still untrodden has been for all time a closely guarded secret, where what life may be existing is unknown, and one can only speculate on the dangers that are certain to be lurking in these mysterious wilds. It is some years since I wrote my book Battles with Giant Fish, In this I endeavored, with the help of photographs, to show the grotesque and often gigantic examples of life which exist beneath the waters of the seven seas. I try to describe the malevolent savagery of many species. Since writing that book, I have traveled many thousands of miles through the Central American republics, up rivers, through swamps, across mountains, and have hacked my way through solid jungles. The expeditions Lady Richmond Brown and I have led have, I am glad to say, not been unproductive, and have added many fresh archaeological and ethnological specimens to the British Museum and the Museum of the American Indian High Foundation in New York. I have hesitated for a long time before recording here something of what I have seen and experiences I have had during the last few years. Hesitated for this reason, that life in the wilds differs widely from life in civilized countries. To gloss things over would be absurd. A picture of waving palms, coral sand beaches, and sandy tropic nights, although delightful reading, would be but a cloak over the sheer ruthlessness and barbarism of the true wilds. And my hesitation has been prompted by the question: shall I write of the primitive as it is, of a land where the gun is low, where life and laughter go hand in hand with sudden death, a mysterious country where great ruins lie buried amidst impenetrable jungles, a pre-Adamite land of huge, grotesque reptiles and animals, and myriads of poisonous and deadly insects? This book is the answer. In living among primitive and degenerate Indian tribes, it is impossible not to discover a strange humor of a type which, God knows, would not be appreciated in civilized countries. To give an accurate history, one must write of brute passions, where the lust of blood is ungovernable, where there are no laws to restrain, where the pseudo-morals of great cities do not exist, and hypocrisy is unknown, where prostitution for mammon is non-existent, and where life, although it is not endowed with sanctity as we know it, is a cleaner, finer, simpler thing. Amid the great spaces, the vastness and grandeur of nature, there is no place for petty jealousies, sordidness, and malice. The latent animal in man soon breaks through the thin veneer of culture. The jungle is ruthless, but it cannot be compared with the ruthlessness of our well-ordered cities. My exploration walk in the interior of Central America and among the little-known islands of the Caribbean Sea could never have been accomplished without the great help and encouragement I have received from Sir Frederick Kenyon, Chief Director of the British Museum, during the period over which I write, from that good sportsman Captain T.A. Joyce of the Ethnological Department of that institution, who has toiled and sweated with me in the jungle and has done great work of which the public knows little, from my friend Mr. George G. High, head of the Museum of the American Indian High Foundation of New York, who has in many ways backed my work, and from Dr. Isaiah Bowman of the American Geographical Society of New York. I should also like to pay a very grateful tribute to Mr. William Randolph Hearst and Mr. T.V. Rank, since without the unstinting support of the Hearst Press, much that has been accomplished would have been impossible of achievement, and to my colleague Lady Richmond Brown, who for years has been closely associated with my work. I cannot pay higher tribute than to record in this book the great part she has played in making history for Central America, as those who read will learn.